Hey guys, what's up? Dizzy Nuts here at Animal Kingdom, and we're going to go inside. We're going to be shooting some Pandora. I'm going to show you what settings I use for the sunset shot. So let's go inside. Officially arrived to Valley of Moana. Here we go. Okay guys, we're up for the first shot right here. We're shooting the Flying Mountain. And we're going to be shooting some of the water down here. Okay. So for the camera, I got an ultra wide angle lens here, 12 to 28, which is going to allow me to get a lot inside of the frame. And I'll show you what I'll hopefully be getting. There you go. Okay, as for settings, I'll show you what I'm using. I am using actually manual mode because that will allow me to control all the settings that I want to use. In this case, I want to use ISO 100 so I get the best quality out of the sensor. I'm setting actually my timer. I'm actually setting it for 2 seconds since I'm using a tripod. That way when I press the shutter release, the camera doesn't shake and the photo doesn't come out blurry. And as for settings on the camera per se, I'll go ahead and show you what I'm using here. You guys already saw F11, actually F8, which is that way I get the best out of the best of both worlds here. And then really important, what I'm using here is the metering mode, which is this one here, which is evaluative metering, because that's what it does is when it sees the whole scene, it's going to calculate the information from what it sees on its entirely, not only in a spot. Because if I try to use the spot metering mode, what's going to happen, the camera is going to try to use that spot and it's going to come out all white and all terrible. Okay? And I'll show you if you guys want to see what it does. So for example, let's go ahead and show you the screen. Okay? And then using my dial here, my shutter speed, I actually adjust it until the exposure meter is right in the middle. See, there we go. Okay, once it's right in the middle, it's where I want it. Okay, so let me change the metering mode so you can see what happens. If I click here and I put different type of metering mode, if I put spot metering, what happens is that the camera, type there, it's going to think it's too dark, and you're going to see it's going to say that the exposure is it's overexposed. So when I bring this down to the middle, look what happens. The sun, well, sunset, or clouds, whatever you want to call them, that we have right now is making the camera think that it's too bright and making it, telling us to set it to something which it really isn't. So that's why on shots like this, I make sure that my metering mode is set to evaluative. And that way, you'll see that now my exposure indicator has went down. If I bring it up, everything looks nice and balanced. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the button. Since I've got a timer, I got a 2-second delay there. There we go. There's the first shot of the evening. Okay guys, here's another really cool opportunity if you guys have a chance. As you guys can see, there's a lot of waterfalls here, a lot of water movement. And if you see my previous video where I show you how to do the really cool glossy effect of water, I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing if you don't have the filter. Only thing here is that we're able to do this because it is not full blast sunlight. It's actually sunset. Probably like 5:30 right now. Okay, so using the same settings I did earlier, f8, ISO 100. I'm using my exposure meter there in the middle where it looks perfect. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to bring up the f-stop. Okay, you see the f-stop right here? I'm going to bring this up. And what that does, since I'm forcing the ISO to 100 on the top, to 100, it's actually, I have to actually bring the exposure, the shutter speed up. Okay, so now I got 8 seconds. Obviously, I'm using a really high f-stop, so when I got 8 seconds, I'm going to go hit it. It's going to give that really cool effect. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're up for another photo opportunity, the bridge. Okay, so one of the cool things about doing long exposures during the day is that you can actually get people out of the photo. So for example, if I do a long enough exposure where the people are walking through the bridge and they do not stop, they will not come out in the photo. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring up my f-stop again. You see I got f16, let's bring it up to f20. And that's going to make my exposure go all the way up to 10 seconds. Okay, and I know in my ear, this is where I always want to make sure my exposure meter is right dead in the center. Okay, I'm going to take the shot. We got some people going through it right now. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're back. We just took 20 seconds, and if I'm looking at my photo, there is no one in the photo. How crazy cool is that? Okay, so that's another really good tip that I can guys give you, that if you do a long enough exposure even in the day, as long as the people don't stop, they will not come out in the photo. How cool is that? Okay, let's look for another photo spot. Okay, so we're here at another really good photo spot. As you see, it's starting to get dark here at Pandora. So that's when we start adjusting our camera settings. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, my exposure indicator is telling me I have to go up. So I'm going to move my shutter speed to the right. That way, it comes right down smack in the middle. Okay, this comes up to 25 seconds. Okay. And again, I'm shooting f8 because I want to get the best out of this lens. They say that f8 is the sweet spot on the Canon lenses, so that's what I'm usually shooting in, because that way everything comes out in focus. And again, another setting that I'm using that I usually tell everybody is to put the timer of the camera on 2 seconds. That way, when I hit the button, it'll wait 2 seconds before taking the shot. Okay, here we go. Okay guys, when you're doing like shots like this, which is extremely dark like Pandora is, it's okay to go to your camera and set the ISO a little up. For example, here I'm using ISO 200 because I want to use f8. So setting the ISO up allows me to then make sure that my exposure indicator is right in the middle where it needs to be. So that way I get a really good exposure. Okay? Okay, so here's another really cool spot, which is actually right across from the Hotel Burundica. Okay, and it's right here. I have my tripod set up. I'm going to be shooting the sign that's over here. It says "Welcome to Harambe" and the boat. Now, just like before, I'm going to be using f8 because I want to get the most detail possible. I want to get everything in focus, everything really nice and tight, everything really cool. Okay. And one thing that I always recommend people is to always fill the frame. For example, I could shoot it like this, but you see I got these pockets on the side, which I really don't like. So I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit. So I got the boat and the side of the sign right here, right on the edges. Okay, as for settings, manual, doing f8, press my shutter halfway to see what the exposure indicator is telling me, which is almost at center, but that should be fine. 30 seconds at f8, and I'm putting ISO 100. Let's see what we get. Here's the final result. Okay, look how cool it looks, because we got everything looks in focus, everything looks nice, the exposure looks good, bolt looks good, I can zoom in and see the details. Okay, so here we go.